friends. Welcome to another episode of the Unite Project podcast. I'm excited that you're joining us today. And I will say, normally we definitely interview somebody and talk about a passion of theirs, but it's going to be a little bit of a different structure. We are constantly hosting events and programs with teacher engagement. And so today we're going to be talking about an event that is near and dear to our hearts. And we brought along a guest. So I want to kind of do some intros. If you haven't met me, let's be friends. Let's get some coffee. I'm Mallory Williamson, one of the teacher engagement coordinators, and joining me, I have our other teacher engagement coordinator.
Hi, I'm Summer. I'm so happy to be back on another episode.
And so we also have Taylor Cameron in the house.
Hello.
So Taylor, it's your first time. So anybody who's listening in, tell them a little bit about yourself.
All right. My name's Taylor Cameron, and I am currently a literacy coach at Lena Vista. But before that, I was in the classroom. I taught kindergarten, 4th, and 5th.
All of the important grade levels.
Yes.
Did you decide, like, after kindergarten, you're like, nope, I'm out?
Well, I
kids.
actually started in kindergarten, and my principal said, you're going to 4th. And I said, all right, guess I'm going to 4th.
Principal speaking truth into, like, what's your niche?
Yes.
So I wanted to kind of share a little bit of backstory, and I think this is hilarious, and this is probably why I initially reached out to you, is that you and we're talking today about our Emerge Symposium. So it's one of our largest events, and we get the opportunity, and we're going to go into explain a little bit more in detail, but it's one of the events in which our teachers do breakout sessions and are the actual presenters. So it's nice for us because we get to take a step back and chill for a second. But you and I met at Emerge Symposium, and not just attending it, did we?
That's right. Yeah, it was special for us that day.
Whoa. I think it's special because you got partnered with me, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's
okay,
right, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So we got a call from Jessica Solano, and I remember Tamika was also overseeing it, and we submitted, I guess, proposals that are a very similar topic.
Yep.
I was on classroom transformations, and yours
Flexible seating.
So they decided, let's take the two similarities, partner them together, and then you and I were like, all right, we got to figure this out. We've never met before. Yep. So we went to Starbucks, put our presentation together, and I think that was like the first time that I really felt like I was able to lead a presentation with another teacher that wasn't even at my school.
Right, like a complete
stranger. And we had to act like, we became friends really quick. Yeah. So that helps because I think we connected, but that's always like scary. Like, is this person really going to like talk, or how is this going to work?
Am I going to have to do the whole thing? Or
group project mode?
Yes.
Is she going to actually do her part?
Right.
So I think that's why I definitely initiated you as a guest, because of the fact that teachers get an opportunity, educators get an opportunity to not only when they submit an application, but ultimately they could be building their professional resume, networking with other teachers that really they would have never met in 10 years, 20 years of their career. Nope. I don't think our paths would have crossed, but not really.
Yeah, not like that.
Not like that,
not
for
sure.
Emerge is making all sorts of connections.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we're super excited to bring in. We're going to talk a little bit more about what we do and why we do it.
Yeah. So before we get straight into Emerge, there are so many people that are joining us for the first time. So I would like to know, Mallory, could you tell us what is teacher engagement? What do we do besides a podcast?
And Summer's not asking this because she doesn't know.
Yes, I know, but I want everyone else to know as well.
So teacher engagement, we hear the phrase teacher engagement constantly because as teachers, we want to engage our students, but we are a physical department made up of people, and we don't always wear pink, I promise. That just happened to roll out today for back scenarios, but...
She's lying. We dress like twins every day.
We wear pink all the time. And so basically, we are founded on 3 particular pillars. We like to do new teacher support, events like All Teacher Seminar, New Teacher Boot Camp, teacher leadership, leading from the classroom. We've had hundreds of teachers participate that, as well as like Emerge Symposium and Ed Camp, and then district culture. So our podcast is one of the reasons as to why we do this, is to help kind of embody that positive district culture. So we do a lot of things, and ultimately our goal and what is on our description for our jobs is to do what we can, how we can, to support the 7,000 teachers in our department, in our district, like Taylor.
That means you can reach out to us at any time. Anytime.
You have access to our schedule, which can seem frightening, but it's pretty awesome to be able to say, like, I'm accessible to 7,000 teachers when they need me. I like to say that in a Publix grocery line and see the look on people's faces. All right. So with that being said, we host a lot of events and programs, but like I said, today is all about the Emerge Symposium. So Summer, would you mind sharing a little bit about what is our Emerge Symposium? What does that even mean?
Yeah, so the Emerge Symposium is an educator-led mini conference. And what makes it really remarkable is it is all led by our Polk County Public Schools teachers.
Yeah.
So you are actually learning from your colleagues. You are learning from the people that are there in the trenches with you. And it's great because you can learn about so many different topics.
Yeah.
I mean, going through and reading the different things that people submitted this year, you can just learn about anything. And
from
so,
like student relationships, classroom management, to secondary trauma, to collaboration with team members, colleagues, to students. Like, it's just really diverse. That's what I love.
There's something for everyone. So, and it's a great way to go and just learn more.
Yeah, for sure. It's a full day packed out, which we'll go into that. We'll go into that as well. So with that, we have the event, and so every year we kind of focus on a theme, right? We want it to be directed towards something because we don't want it just to be a free-for-all. But I like the fact that when teachers submit their presentations, you get a diverse response, and you would never know that this is something that they're passionate about in their classroom, because I only know people on my campus, but even behind my four walls in my classroom, I didn't know who was doing like flexible seating or who was really passionate about helping other teachers understand secondary trauma. You don't know what you don't know unless you talk and network to people. So we've gone through several years, and this year's theme is based off of a book, which each of them has been prior. Last year was Upstream. If you have not read that book by Chip and Dan Heath, keep going, read it. But this year is Grit, and so by Angela Duckworth, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. And it's not necessarily a brand new book, but I think that with our climate today, I was a little nervous and hesitant because we talk about grit, and most people associate it with how hard you work, right? Well, every teacher and educator in Polk County Public Schools is working hard. Yes. But something that we really wanted to focus on is Angela Duckworth talks about, so everybody within their job, in order to consider it a calling instead of just a job or a career, they find interest something within that job or field. And that interest develops into a passion. Teachers are passionate about teaching, and their students, yes, but there's stuff or specific categories that they lean into, like building student relationships, and that becomes their niche, or flexible seating, and that becomes their main focus. And so I really wanted to submit this proposal by this theme just to see what, as a teacher, are you passionate about, and how could you maybe help influence others who want to find something tangible, try it, practice it out in their own field or environment, and then see what happens from there. So Grit by Angela Duckworth, if you have not read it, I think it's like $10 on Amazon, super cheap. Yes. And it is worth your read, tons of research. And so we'll have the presentation. And we'll start off with a panel this year. Last year was a keynote. We got a panel by some teachers. So you get to not only hear from your presenters from your breakout, but you'll have a group of teachers who will share their insights. And then we'll go into 4 sessions of the breakout where you can pick and choose 4 different breakouts, which is awesome because normally it's like 1 or 2.
Right. Gives people way more choice. So that's exciting.
Yeah. So the presenters will present twice in a row, and then it'll rotate through a new set of presenters, which gives that flexibility, that freshness, and it gives you an opportunity to visit more breakout sessions. And they're 30 minutes long. So it's not like a 15-minute breakout and then you're done. And by the way, Summer is leading one. So you guys all should go into that. Summer, what's yours about?
Mine is about building trust on your school campus. So improving school culture. Yeah.
So.
How about you? What are you presenting on this year?
So last year I presented as well. And
she's like a pro. It's her 3rd year in a row.
Relax. No big deal or anything. No, really. Last year I did Grit and Grace. And so this year I'm kind of tweaking it a little bit. But the foundation is building relationships with students and what that can look like for different educators and the different aspects and components that goes into that. So I kind of made like a little acronym for Grit. So my 4 main pieces will be grace, respect, intentional, and teams.
I love it.
So I'll just hit on each piece of that for a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's so special because you are going to be in a room with other teachers from the same county, like, I don't know, it makes it feel so much more personal. Because sometimes you go to conferences and you feel like, oh, I don't see how that could work in my classroom or anything. But like here, you really, really can. So
for sure,
that's really cool. So what made you want to present? What made you decide, hey, this is something I'm going to do?
I love the Emerge Symposium. Obviously, it's my third time doing it, so I do really enjoy it. It's probably my favorite event. Just the networking and the people that you meet and get to connect with. That, like she said earlier, you'll never get to meet these people. So just knowing that at your school, like, you're not alone. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
There's other people facing the same positive things and the same challenges. And really just making connections and seeing what can I learn from them. Because I'm presenting, but I still want to learn from the people that are sitting in my session as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. So if there's anyone listening that thinks like, oh, next year I definitely want to present, do you have any tips for them? Or maybe there's someone new like myself that's going to be presenting.
I think the one thing I really try to do every time I present is, one, make it engaging for the audience. I don't want them to be sitting there bored. And then the other thing is really nailing down something that they can take away. So something that they can implement that is quick, easy, but still meaningful and impactful for our students. So even if it's a strategy or some organizer that might be different or a check-in system, something that doesn't cost any money and something that they can take and do.
I love that, thinking about what they can really take away from this, from everything you're saying. Was the one thing that's going to stick around for, Monday's lesson.
That's right.
That's a really good way to look at it.
I think definitely taking away from your presentation, I sat in, I don't know if you remember this, but I sneakily sat in your presentation last year. And what has been impactful for our teachers is to hear the personal stories that's attached with the information that you're receiving. So a lot of our presenters are interweaving their stories and their history of how and why this has been impactful for them and why this is such a passion. And so hearing the story that you and Crystal shared with particular students that you came across really, I think, resonates with teachers, because like you said, then you kind of feel, even though we're a district of 7,000, you're like,
you get me.
I've experienced that.
I felt that. That happened to me too.
Or you're just like, oh man, and there's this empathy that is shared and you immediately bond. And then it's kind of like a more of a push to want to connect with you or ask you more or share more. And so
it's really cool to afterwards too, to have these teachers and educators contact you and just want to know more. And how did you implement this? It was big when I did the flexible seating, because I literally took my entire classroom and threw it in this
she did. I saw her unpack the whole thing.
My kids were freaking out. They're like, where are you going? I'm like, nowhere.
That's our whole classroom.
Yeah, where are you taking our stuff? But just seeing how I rolled it out, because obviously it's expensive, and teachers were wanting to know, how did you implement this? And I said, well, it's a process, so giving them that feedback that they were asking for was really cool too.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you see something, especially like flexible seating, on an Instagram post or like in that teacher's classroom who like has everything, it is, and you think like, how could I do that? So hearing from someone real in the same situation as you would really help.
Yeah.
It instills a lot of confidence for sure. I'm really looking forward to this year. So in case you are wanting to attend, we're sending out constantly email updates to your Polk email address, as well as flyers and social media. If you don't follow us on social media, that's provided at Teach Engage PCPS with our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. But it's going to be Saturday, February 4th from 8:30 to 12:30. I already know that some of you just took a deep breath and we're like, a Saturday. So Taylor, let's encourage our listeners. Why would you encourage, even if it's on a Saturday? Why do you think that's like, help us out?
It's worth it, guys. I promise it's worth it. Honestly, like when I first did this my first year, the feedback that I gave to you guys was, I wish I could have sat in other sessions. And so it's really neat that you've taken that and now we're able to actually attend some, because they're just good. I don't really know what else to say about it, but the people that present are passionate about whatever they're presenting on, and so just to feel, you can feel their passion talking about the topic, and it might be something that I want to do better in or want to learn more about that nobody on my campus can really do that right now. So let me go listen to somebody else. So it's cool to just see the different perspectives on things.
And adjusting it after a work day, you're already exhausted, and we can't do as lengthy of breakout sessions. So it is on a Saturday, but it gives you more time to absorb. You bring your own 2 or 3 tumblers of coffee if you want. We're going to have some refreshments and stuff there. But it is worth it. People who attend have really given us some positive feedback on that. And so try it out. I encourage you. We invite everywhere from an education major to an intern to a para to a substitute to a teacher to an educator in Polk County Public Schools to an administrator. Anybody and everybody, even district members, are allowed to attend. So I think that's also so incredibly dynamic, is that you've got a bunch of group of people who are just really willing to soak it all in.
Yep.
So look forward to some of that information coming out. We're grateful also to Polk State College, who is lending us their campus again.
Yes.
I know Summer, you weren't able to join us last year, but this year, I'm telling you, the environment alone sets it up.
It does.
So Polk State, we're grateful for them, and Grand Canyon University for sponsoring, so we can feed you, so you're not sitting on an empty stomach for breakfast, so that we can have that ready to go, and it's just going to be a great time. So we're looking forward to it. Any last minute thoughts? Feeling prepared?
We see you there.
Yeah. Taylor's getting her presentation ready.
That's
and
right.
prep,
Sign up for my session.
We'll have all of that details out for you in those emails, including who is leading what session ahead of time, so that you can plan accordingly. We like to set you up for organizational success here. So thank you for joining us. And Taylor, it's a pleasure as always. From a friend to another friend. So thank you for sitting with us. Even though you didn't get the pink memo, that was our fault for not sharing.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Maybe on Emerge.
Maybe.
We'll be wearing red.
All right, I'll be there.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us. You can subscribe to the Ignite Project on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Spotify, or watch online at the Polk County Public Schools YouTube channel. To learn more about the Ignite Project and other Polk County Public Schools podcasts, go to polkschoolsfl.com/podcasts.